Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now.
Ariana, let's start with your last fight last year.
Mhm.
At Combat Night. You got your second guillotine finish as a professional. First round, another first round finish. Is that your main submission? Like, is that something that you really get a lot in practice, or is that something that just came, it just opened up and you got it?
I mean, the guillotine was kind of like one of the first chokes that I learned as soon as I started
Mhm.
jujitsu and stuff like that. So it's always been like kind of like my go-to, and especially with MMA, a lot of people, they keep their heads down and stuff like that. So the choke is there if you really look for it. So that's kind of why I always go for it and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that it's one of my favorite ones, especially
Mhm.
when I've done the submission grappling series as well. So it's definitely one of my go tos.
Yeah, definitely. It's great to have, especially when people are trying to shoot takedowns on you all the time, right?
Right. Yep.
And one thing about women that is different from men, and this is, I don't know if it's true or not, is that you guys have like more flexible ligaments or limbs. Like, because if you notice, when girls get into arm bars, they can fight through arm bars much longer than men can.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. So the girls definitely like scrambles and stuff like that will end up in some crazy positions where you're like, how could that be possible to get there? But I mean, it makes it that much fun. So
It does. It definitely does. Now, since then, it's been like almost a year now. Like, what was going on
Mhm.
after that fight? Could you explain like why you've been out of competition?
Yeah, it wasn't by choice, I promise you that. It was just the lack of competition. Once you go 4-1, you've gone a 3 fight win streak, everybody that you're gonna fight's almost there, just like you are waiting for that UFC call. So, I could understand the hesitation with a lot of opponents that I reached out to and stuff like that. But the main thing was just we couldn't find fights, and then we were hoping to maybe get into the contenders, but then that kind of fell through a little bit to because they wanted me to get one more regional fight on the regional scene, which is fine. I had no problem. It was just finding that fight. So luckily, we finally got it locked in, and I'll be able to go out there Saturday and do my thing that I've been waiting to do for a whole year now.
Yeah. How frustrating is that? Kind of like ducking and dodging because time is very important. We don't have, especially a fighter's career is not very long. So when time passes for like a year, I would be frustrated.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there was some really low lows there. It was to the point where I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna focus on getting better, sharpening everything. Like I kept my eye on the strawweight division for the UFC too to see what was going on there, and we kept reaching out to people. We kept trying to get fights, and finally got this one locked in. But yeah, it was a little bit of a hurdle to get through when you're putting in so much work and you're doing everything that you need to do, and it's just like you're not able to implement it and on the stage. So that was the one thing that I kind of battled with a little bit. Was like, all right, like why am I doing this so much if I don't have anything to look forward to? But I just that little lack of motivation just takes a little bit more motivation to get in there. So once I got in there and just kept getting my routine together and just didn't lose hope that eventually something would come along. I just wanted to stay ready so I didn't have to get ready.
Definitely. And you talk about like improving yourself, with training. Like, what was the training looking like? Did you go out and like venture out of your home team and train with other coaches? What was going on in that year?
Well, luckily, yeah. I mean, I got to take a trip out to New York. 'Cause that's where my girlfriend lives, and I got to train over at Warriors Nation over there, and it was good. It was great to get like a fresh look, fresh coaches, fresh bodies, that have never sparred with me before and stuff like that. So I was able to venture out there, and then me and my coaches, we just like honestly, we just kept looking at that higher level and what we need to do to sharpen my tools for that. It wasn't even like, worrying about a fight. It was like, all right, how can we make me myself better for the UFC? And we're doing that, and we did that. So I'm super excited to like let it all show on August 3rd.
Who are some of the fighters that you enjoy watching in the strawweight division that's there right now?
Jillian Robertson's definitely one. I've been lucky enough to actually train with her a few times at the Goat Shed, so that's always been such a cool experience too. She's just such a high level grappler and stuff like that. So to be able to feel kind of what it's like to be in that level and like on there, it's like okay, awesome. Like you kind of know more or less what to expect a little bit. Jessica Andras when she was still in the strawweight division. A lot of the girls that I really liked and looked up to, they moved up to the 125 or they'll come down to like 115 every now and then. So yeah, I would say Jessica Andrade is a big one for me that I like to watch.
Jessica Andrade, she doesn't get enough credit, I don't think. She fought in like 4 divisions. That's
Definitely not.
insane.
Yeah. Yeah, she's tough, man. And like and her style, it's just she's crazy, bro. I love it. So yeah, I mean, I got to meet her in Invicta for my Invicta debut a few years back, and it was surreal, but it was cool, and I'm just like, dang, I can't wait to get to where you're at. She's like, yeah.
Maybe you'll get to train with her, soon. Who knows,
You never know, never
You
know.
never know. You never know. Now, August 3rd, you're back in action. Combat Night. Shannon, I don't want to butcher her name. I don't know how to pronounce it, but what do you think of the matchup? What do you think of her?
I'm super excited for it. One, she said yes, so I couldn't be more happier about that. And two, I mean, she's been in the sport for a while now. I mean, if you look at her Tapology, I think she's been fighting since like 2014 or something. So she's a vet in the sport for sure. So it's super exciting to be able to share the cage with someone with that much experience, and that's mainly what I'm just really excited for, to go in there and just test the waters again with someone who's been competing with some of the best, for a long time now. So that's definitely one of the main things that I was like, all right, I'm definitely looking forward to that when they told me that I was able to fight her. So I was like, yeah, that's awesome, great fight. I couldn't think of a better one.
Yeah, your patience paid off because this matchup is much better than someone that's like maybe only has 2 or 3 fights, right? Someone that has so many fights, it's like it proves that hey, I could go in against someone that's way more experienced than me, that's seen much more than me, and still beat them, and proving to the major promotions like, hey, I'm ready.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, that was like the main thing. I was like, all right, this is me making my stamp. I deserve to be here, and I will be there eventually. Like after this fight, I'm gonna stay ready and hopefully get that last minute call because I know I deserve to be in there for sure.
And in your career so far, which fight do you feel like you've grown from the most? You know what I mean? Like maybe overcoming adversity or just going the full 15 minutes. Which fight do you feel like, you people can watch and be like, oh, this girl, she can fight.
Probably my Combate Global debut that I got to do against Nadine Abbott. I got to go the whole full 15 minutes. My first time at 105 when I made that jump down there for a little bit. Um, and I got to strike the most that I have pretty much my whole career almost. So I like really leveled up that fight because there was so much footage that I could like break down and like look at, and from her perspective too, like seeing what I can do better and what we can sharpen up even more there. I mean, I still look back at that fight and I'm just like, man, that was definitely one of my favorite fights right there. So yeah.
Nice. And you took on Fatima Klein, who's in the UFC now, in your second pro fight. That was like that's a big jump, right? How did that fight impact you?
A lot, to be 100% honest. You kind of it made me mature as a professional fighter. Realizing like, listen, like, just because it's a great opportunity, maybe you need to take a step back, especially only being your second pro fight. Didn't really think I should have been in there, to be honest with you. I probably should have taken a couple more regional fights before going on that stage and facing such a game opponent like her. But hey, it's the sport, right? So that's kind of what you expect. But yeah, I mean, after that loss, I took it very personal, to be 1,000% honest with you. I made sure that I did everything I could for that not to happen again, and now I'm on a 3 fight win streak, getting ready to get that next call hopefully here soon. And I couldn't be happier that it happened then, because then I was really able to really mature as a professional athlete and fighter.
What's training camp looking like? You've probably been training for a year for this fight. Like when do you turn it up? Like, how far out?
Oh man, so I've been training since like December and like camp mode. So honestly, I had to take a little step back and be like, all right, you're training way too hard for something that's not coming up yet. Like you don't want to beat your body down. So I would like train like kind of intensely for 1 week and then take it a little bit easier the next week, and I mean like maybe training 4 days out of 5. Maybe doing self care a little bit more, with like the recovery and stuff like that. But training camp, like when I found out about this fight, it was about maybe 4 or 5 weeks out. So I was able to get my crew together. I got to work with a lot of the guys, like the 125ers, 135ers this camp, and Kat Nelson. So having that little like team there, it definitely helped make things easier as far as like rounds and stuff like that. Because we just have a little chat, be like, hey, I'll meet you at 10. Like we're gonna get these rounds in, and then do what I gotta do, and then we'll be able to like relax. So like my thing for this camp was definitely like routine and like making sure that I get the rounds that I know I need in, and if not, I just put in the extra work, that day. So I've been training maybe like 6 days out of the week, one rest day, a lot of cardio. I've been running a lot this camp, just to like, you know, just to keep that cardio up and like the mental, like, oh, am I gonna get tired this fight? So yeah, I've done a lot of running and just striking and training with southpaws too. So that's one thing that made a difference, was that she's southpaw. So I was able to grab some training partners that are naturally southpaw, and it's been great. I couldn't have asked for a better training camp, to be 1,000% honest with you.
Yeah, it looks like you're checking all the boxes. And, two things is like overtraining, which fighters have to battle all the time, and then recovery as well. It's kind of like connected in a way. And it's the hardest thing
Yeah.
to do is recovery, right? For fighters, because it's like you're not active, but you're doing something for your body. How hard is it for you?
It's very hard. Like I'll have days where I'm sitting here and they're my rest days, and I'm just like, wow, I really feel like I should have went to striking class at least. I feel like I maybe should have went for a run or something instead of just chilling and sitting all day. But those Epsom salt baths and those days of just relaxing your body and mind and stuff like that are way more important for that next training day than I realized. And once I started paying more attention to the recovery process and what I do to recover and like what I need to do and how well I do it, definitely had affect my future training days. So that helped out a lot.
And who are your coaches, your main coaches?
So Julian Williams from Fusion X-Cel is one of my main coaches, and then Manny as well. He's one of the Muay Thai coaches. He's been helping me out since he came to Fusion last year, and we've been working a lot together since last year, and just been flowing. Um, yeah, so I mean, we have so many coaches in there ready to help and ready to go. Like I would say Julian and Manny are probably like my main ones for sure.
Yeah, Julian is a guy that's kind of like low key, but he has so many good fighters. He doesn't really
Yeah,
like. He's not really out there like certain coaches, right? He's kind of. I don't know like the word humble, but he's just not like in the cameras. Like what I'm talking
yeah,
about. Like he's about the work.
yeah. Yeah, he kind of lets the fighters do the talking for
Mhm,
him, I feel like, and
mhm.
it hasn't done him wrong yet. So yeah.
No, and the team's growing too. I just saw a couple fighters go over there to Fusion XL. How has it been over the just watching people come in and be like, whoa, this is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The team.
Oh, it's absolutely insane. Like it's cool to see like such high level guys there too, not even to like work with, but to just like watch, like Terrence McKinney has been in here for a couple days now. And it's been cool to like see him move and stuff like that, because I was honestly a fan. Like I love the way that guy fights. So I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. It's cool to see and like see live and like how he works and stuff like that. And like we've gotten so many guys to the UFC now, and it's like it's cool to see that like progression and stuff like that, and to be in the same room with these guys, like we're all putting in the same exact work. So I'm like, I'm doing something right, so it'll be my turn soon. So it's cool to just be able to be in that vibe, that room with like just so many like good guys. Like even like after I'm done sparring, I'll sit out a couple rounds and watch them, and it's just like wow, like all right, cool. Like I definitely so much room for growth here. There's no reason why you should ever think that you're like at a standstill. Like you got knowledge from every which way.
Yeah, you got reality checks everywhere, right? That's
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when I first came to Fusion, I definitely had some reality checks, but thankfully I've been able to adapt since then.
Nice. What's your expectations of yourself in this fight coming up?
Calm, composure, doing everything that I've been working on for the past year.
Mhm.
Doing everything that we've been working on for the past few weeks now, and just going in there and doing what I know I can.
August 3rd, Combat Night. You get your chance. I'm glad to see that you got a good matchup, a veteran, and you get your chance to prove how good you really are. Ariana, thank you so much for the time and all the best in the fight coming up and all the best in, getting signed after this as well.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure.